Hi there, I'm Jase Lindgren, a solutions engineer at Perforce Software, and today I'm going to take you through a quick example of how to set up the Jira integration with Helix DAM and just show you a little bit about how that works. So to start out, I am here in my project inside of Helix DAM, and in order to set up the Jira integration, I need to add a webhook. And the way I can do that is by coming up to here and going to Helix Team Hub. So Team Hub is the backend that's running DAM, and that's where I set up that webhook. So if I go into here and on the left-hand navigation, I go to webhooks, and then up in the upper right, I can click this plus icon. When I click that and I choose my type, I'll choose Jira here. And then I can just give it a name and fill in the rest of this. So let me actually show you the one that I have filled in here already. So this has a name that I've given it. It's the type Jira. Now here I can choose to filter this to only work on specific projects on my Helix DAM server if I wanted to. So for example, I could have multiple different Jiras that I want to connect to or something like that. But for this, I'll just leave it on all. And then same with the repositories and collections. So the collections are actually what's inside of those Helix DAM projects. So I could even limit it further. And then for the events that trigger it, you can see here the three types of events right now, as of this recording, that trigger webhooks is updating a file or asset. So that means uploading a new version to it, changing its status, or adding a comment. Those are the things that will fire off a webhook. I will just leave it on all, so all of those will happen. And then as far as the interval goes, you can either have this set on immediately, where it will send out one request every time that event happens, or you can set up an interval, in which case, at that interval, it will send out one request that contains a list of all of the events that have happened within that last 5 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever it is. And then here I can toggle this on or off. Once I have that filled in, I hit next. And on the configure webhook, this is where I will enter my URL. So for this, I just created a Jira project here, and I just come up here and grab my URL for that. And I'll put that URL here. So this is just Perforce demo. If you are self-hosting and you have a self-signed certificate, you can check this insecure SSL box. I'm not doing that because I'm using Jira Cloud, so it has HTTPS. And then down here for my authentication type, you can choose data center, basic or bearer. So again, if you're using self-hosted or in a data center, or just Jira Cloud, which is the one that I'm using here, where I'll choose basic. I have a username, which that's my username for this. And then for my access token, I need to get an API key. And the way I can do that is in Jira, if I go to manage account for my user. And now in real life, I would recommend you create an extra user in Jira just for this automation, because it will be who is attributed to making these changes. And so you don't want that tied to a normal user's account. You'd want a separate user in Jira for that. But for this example, I'm just using my own account for this. And if I go to manage my profile under the security tab up here and down here at create and manage API tokens, you can see I've got one that I just created a little bit ago for this. But if I needed a new one, I can just click create API token, give it a name, and hit create. I have pasted in to here in my access token. Under advanced settings, if I need to use a proxy, I can enable that here. And I can also set up reference patterns or path patterns. So in the event that just limiting by project or collection was not enough, I could actually use some regex patterns in here to only match particular types of assets or things like that. I'm just going to leave these blank. If you want to learn more about that, you can click the Learn More to go to the documentation pages about that. And just note that these other types of authentication are a little bit different. And you can, again, click this Learn More button up here to learn about what information you would need for each of those. But it's just getting the right tokens and the right secret keys or usernames that you need for those. It's relatively straightforward. And then you just hit save. And this webhook was saved here. So now when I go back into Helix DAM, And let's see, I'm going to go to my claw machine here, and I'll open up this FBX. And in here, I can look at this project I've been working on. Actually, a colleague's been working on this. I shouldn't take credit for his work, but I'll use it for my demo here. And up in links, if I click Add Link on the right side and select Type, I can add just any old custom link with Other. But for this, I'm going to choose Jira. And this is going to show up, and you can see that it actually got the name of my Jira server because of that webhook connection. That's how I can tell that's working. And then I can click this drop down. And right now I just have one other task here. So let's real quick go into my Jira here, and I'll make a new issue, and I'll just say create claw machine for GDC model. Do that there. And if I want, I could assign this to somebody. I'll actually assign that to Ryan since he's actually the one who's been doing the work on it. But now I will go back into DAM. And let me do that again. So I'll add link, Jira, and if I type in claw to search for that, or I could type in SED2 since that's the ID of it, or I could search for it however, and I will click on that and say add. What this has done now is in the links page of this, I will see not only do I have a link here that I can click, and that will, here, I'll just do it this way. That link will bring me directly to this issue in Jira. And then also you'll see that it has grabbed the status from Jira, which again, if I go back here, I will see that this currently has the status of to do. If I were to change this to in progress, and then I come back into here, and this will happen every time I go back into this page, so I'll need to refresh here. But now you can see it's marked as in progress. So each time this page updates, it'll go and get that status from Jira to display it for you here. And I can see that I'm the one who actually reported that into here, but it's actually assigned to Ryan. So I can see all that information in here. And now if I make a change, like for example, if I come in here to comments and say, this is looking good now, and I'll just submit that comment here so I can see my comment in DAM. And if I now go to this in Jira, and I'll just refresh here, you can see that I have a comment that has come in from this user. So again, I was the user that signed up for this. So if you made a user for this, then it would show up as coming from them, which I would recommend. And this says Helix Team Hub DAM, a new comment was added. And then this provides a link here that if I click this link, this will now take me directly to that page. So now both are linked to each other. And so you can very easily get back and forth between this task in Jira and this actual asset here in Helix DAM. The next thing I could do here is if I change my status, let's just change this to approved now. And then same thing, if I come back into Jira and refresh, I will see that the workflow state of Claw Machine has changed to approved. So I'm able to track that progress in here, and then maybe in Jira, I'll change this to done. And now likewise, back in DAM, if I refresh this, I will then see this is done. So that was a quick little tour of what you can find here in Helix DAM and Jira. If you want to get that set up, it's really quick to get going, so you can try that out and let us know how you like it. Thanks so much, and I will see you in the next video.